The dumpster fire known as Motorsport Games has finally announced their 2022 NASCAR game. It's going to be called NASCAR Rivals, but it's not going to be available for PC or for PlayStation or for Xbox. Yeah, it's only going to be available for the Switch. And today they unveiled their very first look announcement trailer. So we got our first look at the game with tons of details, which tracks are in the game, which drivers are in the game. And yes, we've already seen some problems with the game already. I'm Alan Bailey, and today we're going to break down everything we know about NASCAR Rivals. Before we go any further, make sure that you mash that subscribe button. It helps us out so darn much. Give us a thumbs up and let us know down below, what do you think of the brand new NASCAR Rivals Nintendo Switch game? A few weeks back, Motorsport Games accidentally leaked details about their new game, NASCAR Rivals, through websites like Amazon, Best Buy, and Walmart, just to name a few. But today they finally unveiled this first look at the announcement trailer, which, if I had to be a betting man, would guess that this is actually the intro to the game, similar to what they did with NASCAR Heat 5 back in 2020. Now, let's go over a few things here, because there is a lot going on. First off, the game is going to be retailing for $49.99. That is $50 US. Pre-orders can start on August 24th, so about a week and change away, which is when they're going to unveil the first look at the actual gameplay, with a release of October 14th, 2022, only for the Nintendo Switch. You can go digital or you can go physical copy if you're into that sort of thing. Now, what exactly is this game? Is it a brand new build up from the ground up? No, absolutely not. Motorsport Games can't build a game. They demonstrated that with NASCAR 21 Ignition. So instead, they more or less ported over NASCAR Heat 5. But I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. Didn't they do that with NASCAR Heat Ultimate Edition Plus last year? Yeah, they did. Instead, this year, they gave it a brand new title, some new graphics, and they actually did bring in the new next-gen cars with the 2022 roster. So, basically a skin mod. Cool! I know what you're thinking. Well, we're going to get the Dirt, the Trucks, and the Xfinity Series, as well as the Cup Series, right? No, they removed the Dirt Series, they removed the Truck Series, they removed the Xfinity Series. We only have the Cup Series. Yeah, I know. But maybe they did a bunch of work to the tracks. Actually, they kind of did. I gotta give them props for this one. Let's go through, basically, ABC, which tracks are in the game, which are not in the game. First off, the LA Clash at the Coliseum, not in the game. Non-points paying events in 2022 are not included, so basically no LA Clash at the Coliseum, which everybody really wants, and oh no, we won't get to race at Texas during the All-Star race. Oh no, this is such a tragedy. Can you tell? I'm not that disappointed in it. But this is actually kind of cool. The new Atlanta Motor Speedway, the new and updated for 2022 version of the track, will be in the game. Auto Club Speedway returned to the schedule in 2022, so it will be in the game. We're going to get the concrete and dirt versions of Bristol Motor Speedway, as well as the oval version and the roval version of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Circuit of the Americas will be in the game, according to insider information, as well as Darlington, Daytona, Dover, Homestead, Miami. The Indianapolis Road Course will be in the game, not the Indianapolis Oval, unfortunately, but the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Kansas, Martinsville, Michigan, Nashville, New Hampshire, Phoenix, Pocono, Richmond, Road America, all going to be in the game. Sonoma's going to be in the game, and per this screenshot, we know that we're taking the top of the hill and not the carousel, so that track has seen some work done from NASCAR Heat 5 as well. Talladega, Texas, Watkins Glen, Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, all going to be in the game, which is actually really good news. I'm bummed about the LA Coliseum not being in the game, but honestly, that is one track of everything else that they actually did their homework on. So, honestly, props to them. And the main reason that they can't put the Clash in the game itself is because that is a non-points paying event, and this game's core code doesn't have those non-points paying events. So really, they'd have to break the entire game in order to get that one track in. I'm okay with them not getting that track in. We're going to see the entire 2022 roster of full-time drivers, but we're actually getting a number of full-time drivers in the game as well. We're getting the number 26 car. Daniel Kvyat is going to be in the game. Jacques Villeneuve is going to be in the game as well with the number 27. Greg Biffle is going to be in the number 44. Kaz Grala is going to be in the number 50 Money Team car. We're going to have JJ Yaley in the number 55 MBM Motorsports car. We're going to have Noah Gregson in the number 52 Beard Motorsports car. Timmy Hill is going to be in his number 66 MBM Motorsports car, as well as Kimi Räikkönen going to be in the number 91 Trackhouse Racing Project 91 car as well. This is actually insanely cool. Like, I'm really down for this move. Way to go, Motorsport Games. Sincerely, for adding these drivers. It is super easy to add a different skin and a different driver in, but honestly, kudos for this very little touch that honestly has me as a hardcore fan kind of leaning in the direction of buying this game. But will I buy it? Gonna talk about that at the end. We're gonna get a race now, which will allow you to basically pick any track, any driver. This is not new. This is a feature that's been literally in video games for NASCAR since, I think, the 80s. So, yay for continuing to give us a feature that's been here for 30-something years. Career mode is going to be all new and revamped. Supposedly, players can choose to join a team or race on their own team, and driver customization is included in this part of the game. So supposedly, you're going to be able to customize your driver similar to what we had in NASCAR Heat 5, because this is a port of NASCAR Heat 5. But this is very important, and this is very cool. We're going to get a brand new paint booth, and not so much a brand new paint booth, but very similar to what we saw in NASCAR 21 Ignition. Now, what does that mean? Will we actually be able to use these custom paint schemes in Race Now, and more importantly, in career mode? And the answer is yes. When you start a career mode with your own team and you pick a sponsor, you actually get a blank race card. You don't get templates like we saw in NASCAR Heat 5 and previous iterations of this game, but instead you're getting a blank paint scheme where you can 100% customize it, just like we saw in NASCAR 21 Ignition. That was honestly one of the best parts of the game, but unfortunately you couldn't use that custom car anywhere in the game except Race Now. You couldn't go online with it. You couldn't do custom career with that custom paint scheme. So the fact that Motorsport Games has realized that mistake and they're changing that dramatically tells me that there might be hope for this company that, in other words, seems a little hopeless. We're getting the challenges back. Honestly, did anyone compete in these? I know we all wanted them, but honestly, I don't feel like a lot of people competed in these challenges because they don't actually give you anything. It just more or less says, congrats, you unlocked it, and then it gives you some really bad paint scheme in the past. What's going to happen in this game? Essentially the exact same thing. We don't have confirmation if unlocking these challenges and completing them will actually give you a paint scheme or unlock anything in the game, but previous iterations of the game didn't, so I wouldn't be surprised if these challenges have no real consequence, just like in previous games. The online multiplayer will let you go either local or over the internet, and you can race up to 16 different players, and you will have to play with a Nintendo Switch Online membership. So I do see some people getting in on this, particularly younger fans, but I don't necessarily see this as being a core selling point for the game like maybe Motorsport Games wants, but I'm honestly very happy with the actual paint booth. It looks great. The fact that we'll be able to race that in career mode is phenomenal. Very excited about that. There also will be a separate character creator outside of career where you can customize your appearance from head to toe, update sponsor logos, pick your fire suit, customize it as well. Don't know if it's necessarily going to be as customizable as the actual paint booth, but it will still be a change that we didn't get in NASCAR 21 Ignition. Now, is this game utilizing Switch technology? Absolutely. For the split screens, you can pop off the Joy-Cons and use the kickstand just like the footage we saw from NBC earlier this year. Local multiplayer will also be allowed. Up to 8 people can link together in a race via Bluetooth network, and you will be able to play using the Joy-Con wheel, which utilizes built-in gyroscope to simulate turning the wheel, a wireless wheel. I haven't used it personally, but a lot of people who play Mario Kart says it's actually pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and let you be the judge of that one. Supposedly, we're getting updated graphics and UI for 2022, and via these screenshots, we could tell that the leaderboard graphic has been changed, thank goodness, because NASCAR 21 was just so bad with their leaderboard. And honestly, from this hub, we can tell that we are getting a track map, and the hub itself looks exactly copy and paste like NASCAR Heat 5. No real surprise there. We're going to get a track map, a leaderboard, a realistic, minimalistic RPM and speed gauge, as well as a lap counter, a position tracker, and on top of that, during a day one patch, we're going to get a rear view mirror. Yay, Motorsport Games, for having to patch in a feature that was built into the core of the game. Yay! Motorsport Games actually did do a little bit of their homework here. They went to racetracks and recorded actual NASCAR next-gen cars so that sound-wise, everything is going to be accurate for 2022. As far as the soundtrack is concerned, we're going to get a bunch of new artists that we haven't gotten in NASCAR games before. You know who, ex-ambassadors, Leap, Chris Kiss, Phantom Passengers, Whiskey Myers, you name it. We're going to get a bunch of new artists. I'm actually down for this because NASCAR games have always needed to keep up with the times, and in the past, we've had really good banger soundtracks. I don't know which songs are being selected for this game, so I can't tell you if it's going to be a banger or not, but I honestly applaud them for continuing to try to get new artists in there for a variety of sounds. Now, spotting, who's going to be the in-game spotter? NASCAR spotter Freddie Kraft, spotter for Bubba Wallace in the NASCAR Cup Series, is going to be the in-game spotter for us. Now, I'm praying that they let Freddie actually improv a little, because the scripts that we've had for the spotters hasn't been 100% accurate to what we get in real life, and honestly, the spotters have been pretty bad for the NASCAR Heat Series, and especially for the NASCAR 21 Ignition game. So I'm hoping that Freddie got to improv a little and add realistic terms and realistic things that we'll get out of a spotter. Whether or not NASCAR Rivals actually utilizes that, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see when the game comes out. Now, it's called NASCAR Rivals, so will we actually get rivals in this game? Supposedly yes, but not exactly the one that we want. We're going to get a rival system, friend rival system, very similar to what we had in NASCAR Heat 5. In fact, it's the exact same as it was in NASCAR Heat 5. You can range anywhere from friend to angry, and the tiers are friend, happy, kind, nice, polite, neutral, annoyed, upset, angry. So these 9 different emotions are kind of going to be the gauge on where people are. Are we going to have in-game little bubbles telling us, oh, green, this guy's friendly. Oh, red, this guy's angry. No. Supposedly we will not get one of those meters, but instead, just like NASCAR Heat 5, we'll get the I guess, tweet notification or knockoff tweet notification from the driver with the ability to either apologize or confront them, which will either create a better friendship or make them more annoyed, upset, angry at us. Better than nothing, honestly, I guess. It feels like a D- attempt at a rival system, but sure, why not? Let's go. Now, overall, am I going to purchase this? Honestly, I'm super duper duper on the fence about it, because essentially, what am I getting? I'm getting to run the exact same career mode that I've been running since 2020. Are you kidding me? Keep in mind, NASCAR Heat 5 was basically a copy and paste of NASCAR Heat 4 with very little changes made other than roster changes. And last year, Motorsport Games essentially ported over Heat 5 and called it NASCAR Heat Ultimate Edition Plus, and didn't feel the need to purchase that game because I've already played NASCAR Heat 5. And this is essentially NASCAR Heat Ultimate Edition 2, but they called it NASCAR Rivals because they wanted to trick people into thinking that this is a brand new game. It's not a brand new game. It's instead a port of NASCAR Heat 5, which is at this point a 4-year-old game with a reskin. And honestly, I have NASCAR Heat 4, I have NASCAR Heat 5 on PC. Both are great. I can mod the hell out of both of them if I want through my PC, but having updated rosters isn't necessarily important to me. This company has proven time and time again that the one product that they put out, which is NASCAR 21 Ignition, was a huge failure in every conceivable way, to the point where Motorsport Games is about to go bankrupt. Yes, they only have enough money for about another 2 months of operation, which means NASCAR Rivals might not even hit the shelves. They're counting on pre-orders starting next week to literally keep the company afloat. So I'm not going to tell you not to buy and not to pre-order NASCAR Rivals. I'm saying that based on this company's history, the only game that they put out was a huge failure. Yes, the Switch game that they put out last year, which was a copy and paste, wasn't half bad because they just copied and pasted it and slapped their logo on it. Oh, how hard is that to do? NASCAR Rivals is doing the exact same thing, which is what they've been doing with R Factor, and that's rolling out an old game, putting a new coat of paint on it, switching up the name, literally, no pun intended, and hoping that nobody notices that this is an old game. I don't feel the need to give Motorsport Games any more money because Dmitry Koskov keeps giving himself raise after raise after raise. I'm good. I've played NASCAR Heat 5. It's fun. Will I do NASCAR Rivals for the channel? Maybe. But honestly, I can just as easily do NASCAR Heat 5 again with a new career mode, and it would probably run a lot better, and because of my PC, would probably look a lot better. There is a definite downgrade in quality as far as graphics and sound design with the Nintendo Switch. It is just a fact. I'm not picking on the Switch. I actually love the Switch. I have a Switch myself and play it often. I'm simply saying that being able to customize the car that I'm going to be racing that isn't that important to me isn't a huge selling point. What does NASCAR Rivals have that NASCAR Heat doesn't, other than the current 2022 roster and a couple of racetracks and a couple of drivers that I wouldn't mind racing as? Nothing, honestly. If anything, this is a huge downgrade for NASCAR fans because we don't have a dirt, truck, or Xfinity series. And the dirt series, I could take it or leave it, but the truck and Xfinity series are not in this game. And why would I go out and spend $50 on a game I paid $90 for 2.5 years ago? Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Motorsport Games has already gotten my money, and I don't feel the need to continue to give them money at this point. But I want to hear from you. What do you think of NASCAR Rivals? Is this honestly just Motorsport Games' desperate attempt to keep the scam going and to keep their company afloat when, in reality, they should probably go out of business and give the rights for the NASCAR, the IndyCar, and the BBC, and anybody else that they have rights to back to their respective series and give it to a developer that actually knows what they're doing and that is capable of actually putting out a good product? Or are you going to go ahead and buy into the propaganda and totally buy this game simply because it's a new NASCAR game that we're all kind of desperate for at this point? Or are you jumping over to iRacing? Let me know in the comments down below, and while you're there, make sure that you mash that subscribe button and make sure that you give us a follow on the social media accounts at HeyAlanBailey and give us a thumbs up on this video as well. It truly helps us out a lot. I want to thank you so much for watching up until this point. For the NASCAR Rivals announcement trailer, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see ya at the track.